We just arrived in Shenzhen, but we're not quite sure what to do out here. Welcome back to Solo Quest. Let's talk about the outdoors activity in Shenzhen. Now, we all know Shenzhen is known for their mega malls, clubs, underground mall, tech hub center, but these are all indoor activity. But what are some of the outdoor activities for people out here who enjoy to bask in the sun? Now, in today's video, we're going to mainly focus on the basic outdoor activities you can enjoy in Shenzhen. Of course, there are other more, but this is something quick and easy for newcomers to kind of consume and also tourists. And I'm not going to go through details, but I'm going to only talk about the most famous one out here in Shenzhen. First, let's talk about the beaches of Shenzhen. Now, the more famous one is Dameisha and Dameisha. It's all the way on the west coast of Shenzhen, and it's quite far from the city center, like about 1.5 hours up to 2 hours, depending on what mode you use. Now, back then, it used to be even further, like around 3 hours, but nowadays they do have a subway to go there, so it's a lot more convenient. Now, when it comes to this beach, it's not what you imagine back in the Western country, where you can actually just go to the beach and swim however you like and start surfing, although there are some surfing areas for Dameisha and Dameisha. But when it comes to swimming in general, it is quite limited. Now, what I mean by limited, it's like you have a certain area that you can only swim in. And if you go outside that certain area, the lifeguard or the security guard will tell you, hey, back off and get back to this certain area. Now, it's divided with like this type of net that you go fishing and some buoy on the top. And you'll know whenever you reach the spot because there's gonna be like a border. And to add a bit more salt to the whole thing, you can't bring your own big umbrella because you have to rent the umbrella from the vendor itself. Now, this sounds a bit monopolistic, but their justification is to help fund maintain the beach and also upgrade the beach as well. And the umbrella itself costs about 100 RMB and you can stick it wherever you want. In my opinion, it's a bit ridiculous, but you know what? It is what it is. Now that we've already dredged through the negative trenches, let's talk about the positive side of the beaches of Shenzhen. Now, when it comes to the beaches, I would say most of the people that went to the beach don't really go there to swim, but more like just to bask in the sun and all for the events in the beaches. Now, what I mean by events, these are free events that anyone can join and participate in. These can go from singing, dancing, or either just performance in general, which is tons of fun. In general, I would say if you go to the beaches of Shenzhen, don't expect it to be a quiet beach area unless we go to the private beaches. And it's a lot more cleaner and a lot more quiet. Just expect a lot of blaring sound because for anyone that goes over the border when it comes to swimming in these beaches, they'll put out like a siren saying like, hey, go back, beep, 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 some sort like that. And it could be quite annoying sometimes. And one other last recommendation is never go on Saturday and Sunday to these beaches because these aren't gonna be your typical busy beach, but more like a rave party full of kids screaming around and also some old lady that would sit under your umbrella and make you feel a bit uncomfortable. Now let's move on to the coast seaside harbor of Shenzhen. Now, I would say this is the most scenic spot that you're gonna probably encounter in Shenzhen. Not only the nightlight is amazing, but also the breeze of the ocean is great depending on the season. If it's like a rainy season, expect it to smell like clams and oysters. It's a great place for you to take long walks or either get one of these Meituan bikes and just start biking through the harbors. Now, when it comes to these coasts, they are connected to every major spots in Shenzhen, major malls, major tourist area, and major parks. So it makes it a lot more convenient for newcomers and also tourists to venture all over Shenzhen. The later it goes, the better it gets, especially during the evening hour, during the sunset. The sky is majestic orange, red, pink. I mean, it just looks amazing. But during the nighttime, that's when it all starts to get even wilder. Like you can see the skyline of Shenzhen. It looks like something out of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, before we wrap everything up, there is one other new patch when it comes to the coast of Shenzhen, and that is the tour guide scooter bus kind of deal. It's not really big enough to be a bus, but it's kind of one of those like, you know, Jurassic Park bus kind of deal where it's like open-ended. And you can just pay a couple buckaroonies to get inside, and it'll just give you a full tour guide of the whole Shenzhen Bay, which is a great deal. Now let's talk about the next thing that's connected to the coast, and that is the Shenzhen River. The most famous river is the Dashahe River, which is in the right smack center of Shenzhen. Well, not really in the center, but almost in the center. I would say these rivers are the best place for you to kind of take long walks, jogs, but also biking as well. And along the river, you can spot rare birds, cafes, and also events here and there. Now, especially during the afternoon, there's a lot of people that just like to play their music and just relax. And you can also sit down nearby them and enjoy their performance. Now, I think the best part when it comes to this river is that it is connected to the major parts area in Shenzhen. Now, a good example of that is if you are all the way in Shili, checking out the 366 marketplace, and you want to go all the way to Hi-Tech Park, you can easily traverse using the Dashahe River in just about 25 minutes in comparison to the subway, which takes about like 30 up to 14 minutes along with the whole transfer. And now let's move on to the greenways. I would say this is like roads that are paved by the government in order for people to go biking or take long jogs in. And these are all interconnected, and they have lots of like information about nature and connected to the major mountains of the area. Now, a good example of that is if you spot this thing right here. One second. Now, if you spot that thing right there, it just means that you are in the Greenway area. Now, as you can see here, if you are in the right Greenway area, you can see lots of like these poster board explaining about the nature and some sort like that. And most of the Greenway trails that you'll probably encounter are connected from one mountain to another or one nature area to another nature area. Now, as for our last subject, the stadium, parks, and also the squares. Now, I'm going to combine every one of these parts into the same category because these stadium and parks is where most people and old aunties, which is old aunts, to go dancing. Now, this area is mostly populated around 5 to 8 p.m. because everybody just got off work and the aunties or the aunts want to take care of the kids while hanging out with other aunts as well. When it comes to like in the daytime, it's not that populated, but it's just a hot place for you to kind of just lay down and sit down. In my opinion, this is a great place for you to just people watch because most of the time, there's a lot of people that go dancing, playing their music, and it's just a relaxing place for you to kind of just relax in. Now, there's no major squares out here in Shenzhen, but you can find it almost everywhere out here, especially in the bigger communities. But yeah, I think that's all the major basic outdoor activity you can probably do in Shenzhen. You can tackle this in about like 2 to 3 weekends. I think that should be pretty solid. And of course, there are more things to do. You just get to stay longer in Shenzhen. It's a great place for you to kind of travel, explore, and also live as well. And if you have any question, as usual, comment down below. I'll try to reply to you as soon as possible. Until next time, SoulQuest logging out. Peace.